Ooh, it's good to be back. Succession is morphine. I sat down for an hour of pioneering television and enjoyed the warm blanket on a cold, rainy night that is Succession. There's two elements that particularly struck me watching the final season premiere. The first thing is that I'm not ready for this to end. Only 9 more of one of the greatest television achievements of the decade? Oh. The second is that this season is going to be wild. I truly have so little predictions and am just thrilled to be on this journey. At the end of season 3, Logan had entirely locked his children out of the company, Waystar Royco, with the intentions of selling it to the tech bro Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk type, played by Alexander Skarsgård. We picked this season up a few months later, and the aptly titled New Gen Roys have a song to sing.
New Gen Roys. We have a fucking song to sing.
Mainly, they are trying to make a start together away from their father. Meanwhile, Logan sets into motion the last few parts of his final deal to sell the company. This episode, the season 4 premiere titled The Munsters,
meet the fucking Munsters,
works as a particularly great reflection of the first season premiere. There's some clear similarities like Logan's birthday party. However, what stands out the most is the manner in which it sets the table for the season. This isn't an explosive first episode. Unlike the previous 2 premieres, which take place immediately after the eruptive previous season finales, the consequences of the season 3 finale have had some time to stew. It's this consideration and restraint to play these moments smaller, ease the audience in, which is commendable. Even the bigger moments of the episode, like the bidding war, which could be played loud, is brought down to smaller notes. Tom stuttering trying to talk to the New Gen Roys comes to mind, which is distinctly placed at the climax of the episode, and it's not a massive dramatic moment. However, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go into specifics, starting with the bitter... Logan Roy is a sad, sour, decrepit man. Once again, it's Logan's birthday, yet this time he is entirely alone. It turns out when you are no longer able to manipulate your children against each other and surround yourself with yes men, it leads to a particularly dejected existence. Speaking of mortality, Logan is uncharacteristically reflective. He essentially bounces rhetorical questions at his head of security Colin, who's his best pal, which indicates to me that Logan is finally feeling his age and health, and will more than likely not be going gracefully into the darkness. The final scene only further demonstrates this. Logan is outdated. He even sees his own late-night Fox News presenters for the buffoons they are. Nothing tastes the same anymore.
Nothing tastes like it used to, does it?
He despises the people that exist on this planet. They're simply economic units. People used to be funnier. Logan quite literally yells at his room of corporate shills, waiting for one to have a good zinger, and they don't.
Nothing's the same as it was.
The world was better when he was younger. However, it's not like greed, cruelty, and mediocrity didn't exist 40 years ago. They're simply more visible now, and exacerbated by a massively successful media company that peddles blatantly false, sensationalized information. In the show? Logan did this to the world himself, and now he wallows in it. In the final scene of the episode, Logan asks his head of news,
You losing it, Sid?
I'm all over it, Logan.
Are you fucking losing it?
and much like the lunch scene earlier, this is not a question for Sid to answer. Kendall, Shiv, and Roman are all finally on the same page. Mostly. They're working together, making a multimedia, tech bro, masterclass Twitter company, hilariously named The 100. It's a nice change of pace to see the siblings working together with some almost honesty. Kendall is happy to have some solid goals and focus.
I need something super fucking absorbing in my life, and if it isn't gonna be this, please just let me know, right?
As he said, he smoked horse. Where do you go from there? Shiv is the most hesitant to jump on board this new family pitch, and throughout the episode gets easily shaken up and flustered, which to me indicates that the betrayal in the final episode of last season has really impacted her. However, perhaps most importantly, Kendall and Shiv readily drop the idea of making something of their own to just screw over their father. Roman, funnily enough, is the most honest here. He seems like he's actually liking this family bond that has developed in adversity. Roman knows if they go up against their father, this bond is going to be tested. And more than likely, the siblings will be turned against each other. Regardless, the new Gen Roys decide to enter a bidding war for Pierce Media against their own father. And they win. Not a particularly skilled win, but their combined efforts give this ability to essentially slight their father, even if it feels a little like Elon Musk buying Twitter. The duo are back and now going by the Disgusting Brothers, which is just brilliant.
The Disgusting Brothers.
Don't call us that.
However, the dynamic most definitely has changed, starting with Greg, who is just continuing on his downward spiral of awfulness due to proxy with the Roys. Yet, Greg is still just this naive boy who doesn't understand the social rules of the higher class. There's some brilliant Tom-Greg shenanigans, one particularly involving Greg being tricked into outing the fact to Logan that he and his fling rummaged to fruition. There's a particularly nasty moment where Greg is distinctly a coward and won't kick his own girlfriend out of the party, leaving it to security.
I don't want to see what happens in Guantanamo, so,
However, this is all mostly preamble to talk about Tom motherfucking Wamsgans. Tom feels the most different of all the characters from the previous seasons. He's now more calm and considered. Tom is the guy who's on the phone making the plays, and sure, he still stumbles and fails through it, but something feels decidedly different. It's not entirely clear if Tom is playing both sides, as it's a result of his actions that the new Gen Roys catch on to Logan's Pierce deal. Besides the fact that Tom has obviously sided with Logan, it seems we'll have to wait and see as to how everything will play out. What I wasn't ready for was a Richard Linklater-like depressed relationship scene where Tom and Shiv try to discuss what's happened. The show drops its witty gloss like it occasionally does to show the human reality of sadness that is these people. There's a particularly beautiful, almost heartbreaking moment where Tom and Shiv just hold hands in silence, which is so rare for these characters whose major weapon is verbal assault. It gave me this poignant feeling that this is ending, and there's nothing we can do. The entire episode felt like a powder keg, ready to burst. The fact everything was underplayed only made it more tense. We hardly even got the payoffs of all that tension building in this episode. And yet, I'm okay with that. I'm in safe hands and can't wait for my next dose of oxycodone. This was a great reintroduction into all the characters, and they each got some great moments. I didn't even talk about Connor's 1% potentially being squeezed. The final scene is made so much better and meaningful by the fact the rest of the episode is mostly played quiet. So when that beautiful Nicholas Britell music swells in, you're left speechless. That's how I want my TV shows to leave me feeling. You know what? We are in an epidemic of mediocrity and banality. I sit through a high-budget TV show based on Star Wars that features a space bounty hunter and the cutest thing in the entire galaxy and feel nothing. Fuck that! We need to do better. How can the HBO TV show featuring dragons be so unbelievably boring and indifferent to its audience's patience? Succession is literally about unfeeling narcissists, and yet it has so much more heart, and I am so engaged. How the fuck did they make 3 Ant-Man movies? This run of Succession videos will more than likely be my final weekly review videos. Unless my channel happens to start miraculously making me money, which unfortunately is the only indicator of success that the world, capitalism cares about. But it's okay. Really, it's fitting that this should be among my final video series. I mean, I'm sorry guys, but that 2-hour long Ant-Man 4 review video essay I promised just ain't gonna cut it. We're in the wrong timeline. Oh, I'm fucking losing it.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe.